All right, here's my audience. Scanning, scanning. Super excited to be here. Thanks everyone. In Alan Kruger's book, Education Matters, he says, the mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates, but the great teacher inspires. Someday, I want to be that great teacher that inspires my students to really want to be better and learn more. I want to inform you today a little bit about my major, which is education. I'm an elementary education concentration and a double minor in language arts and reading. And I hope today by the end of my speech you have a better idea of how language arts and reading are definitely closely associated, but also at the same time two easily misconstrued subjects that are the easy subjects in school, and they're definitely vital, very important elements in education, definitely, and also more about education as a whole in general, and then how privileged we are to really have the educational system and the resources that we do in the U.S. When I first really understood reading, which is my first minor, I went over to a friend's house, and my friend's dad challenged me to not read for the entire day, and I said, easy, I absolutely hate reading. And I went to the fridge, and I got a glass of water, and I lost the competition. I read the label on the fridge, and then it really clicked in my head that reading is a part of everyday life, that it's from the signs on the road that you read, from the lectures in a PowerPoint. It doesn't really deal with when you're in school, but when you're out of school, reading is so important, especially for younger children, which I'll be teaching, that those developmental skills where they're really learning those important skills. And eLearn magazine has stated that 42 million adults can't read at all. 50 million are unable to read at a higher level that is expected of a 4th or 5th grader. Every U.S. citizen is required to go to school to the age of 16, so that means 90 million Americans have not been taught how to read well or read correctly. And that's why it excites me to get into the department that I'm getting into, because I definitely want to be a teacher who is passionate and cares about my students and teaches them how to read, and they're not a part of that percentage. Reading is closely associated with my other minor, language arts. Language arts deals with everything from reading old literature to like writing, and also even the way that we speak. The kids that I will be working with when I become a teacher are the younger kids, and I'll really be teaching those developmental skills, which is putting words in order in a sentence, and grammar and spelling, and those are really crucial to learn at such a young age, where a lot of people would argue that language arts isn't a part of their everyday life. You don't have to be a journalist to be using language arts. And so that's why I think it's essential to really teach those skills at such a young age. Language arts and reading are really they're not the only two factors in education. I think it's been amazing to me in the travel that I've seen how blessed we are to have the resources that we do in America. Here's a few statistics from a spread in Business Week. Around 85% of adult Americans have at least a high school degree today. That's up from just 25% in 1940. Similarly, 28% have a college degree. Today's U.S. workforce is the most educated in the world. And when I saw that statistic, it was shocking to me, because I've been around the world and I've been to Africa. And this past semester, I was in a classroom at Western Middle School, which is a local school around here. And every single kid in the classroom had an iPad, and one of those iPads would pay for an entire classroom of resources in Africa that I've been to. And so it just makes me appreciate all the more resources that I've had and been blessed with at Spring Arbor, but also really excited to get into education to take advantage of that a little bit more. I think that kids often today also really take for granted their education, and I definitely think that I want to change that persona when I get into the school, that you're not entitled to be there, that it's definitely a privilege. I hope you can see today why two commonly misconstrued easy subjects in school, language arts and reading, are two vital and significant factors in the world of education, and that's why I'm really excited to get into my minors, and also how lucky we are to really have the education system that we do today, and maybe a little bit more about education as a whole. As I said, I think kids take it for granted, and I think that even I take it for granted doing an online speech class, recording it with 2 different laptops in the same room. It's so crazy to me, but I definitely think that your education is all what you make it.